I won't ask for anything else as long as people keep the premises nice and clean and they pay their rent on time. So the tenants shouldn't be asking anything extra of me either. Don't you think that's a fair exchange, Rhonda? But the young girl who runs the restaurant downstairs is the one who fixed the water pipes for the whole building. Surely you should give her a little discount on the rent. Will you stop bringing that up already? I already told you that the water supply doesn't have anything to do with me anyway, so it's not a good enough reason for me to consider reducing her rent. The only thing I'm concerned with is if people are running their businesses well and paying me my rent on time. I'm not going to reduce her rent just because she tinkered around a bit with the water pipes. Please be considerate. The poor girl is only 22. She's the same age as your son. Imagine if she were your daughter. You would probably want to see her compensated for her efforts. I've said it once and I'll say it again. Nothing is going to persuade me to knock a single penny off the rent. She's so stingy. And anyway, it's a miracle this building hasn't collapsed already. It's so poorly maintained. It's disgraceful that the poor girl had to resort to fixing the water pipes herself, because this useless old lady thinks she shouldn't have to do anything except sit around and take rent from people. I don't think she realizes what a sticky situation she would be in if the girl downstairs decided to move her restaurant somewhere else. She'd be losing out on the rent, and the maintenance would never get done. But I suppose her cold-heartedness is probably what got her this far in life in the first place. She owns so many properties, and she's probably able to keep getting money from them because she never lets herself get soft and let people skip a month of rent payment if things are getting tough for them. She won't hesitate to evict you if you're not paying her on time. Hey, Kyle? Kyle?
Yes, Dawn?
I think you may have over-seasoned this batch of fries a little. They're kind of salty.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'll get another batch in the fryer right away. It looks like all the customers are really enjoying them, though.
Hey, Gary, if you're all finished, let's get going already.
I haven't finished yet. I'm especially enjoying these fries today. I don't know what it is about them, but they taste a little different. Miss Dawn is a culinary genius, don't you think? She can make the simplest of foods taste really good.
And you can tell. Look at the line of people queuing outside the door.
I guess that's why they say a business isn't run by the owner, it's run by the customers. This place got big pretty much entirely because of word-of-mouth reviews between us taxi drivers. Anyway, stop trying to rush me. I'm gonna finish my dinner and I'm gonna take my time and enjoy every last bite of it.
I don't think it'll hurt for you to leave a little bit. You need to lose some weight.
You're gonna give yourself a heart attack if you keep eating all those salty foods. Oh, so you're calling me a fat pig who's gonna die soon because of my unhealthy diet, are you? Then you must be one too. We're both eating our dinner at this greasy spoon diner, are we not?
I'm just giving you a warning. You need to take better care of your health in your old age, you know? And you, Ralph, you need to stop this habit you have of drinking 3 instant coffees with every meal. I can drink however much coffee I like. Who are you to judge me? Not only is it bad for your health, you're making poor Miss Dawn lose out on the money. Just buy a drink from her instead of being a cheapskate and bringing in your own instant coffee sachets. I can do whatever I like, thank you very much. I don't know why you're acting so affronted. It's not like she's your daughter or anything. Well, we've been friends with her dad for ages. We're both 70 this year and she's nearly 40 now, but I've known her all of my life, so I still see her as just a little girl.
Anyway, stop bothering us and go and get back to work already. There are a lot of people waiting for taxis this time of night, and somebody has to go and take them.
Oh, before you go, Larry.
Did you have mac and cheese this evening?
Yeah, I did.
Did you not order a cheeseburger and fries, though?
I don't know, maybe I did.
You should have let us know if it was a mistake. I charged you for the cheeseburger and fries, but the mac and cheese is actually $2 more expensive.
Oh, is it? Oops, I didn't know. Anyway, I've got work to do, so I'll cover the difference when I come in tomorrow. Bye, everyone.
Oh, that guy gives me such a headache. Can somebody find me Larry's receipt so I can confirm? Oh, hi there, Hank. I haven't seen you in a while.
Thank you so much for your generous contribution to the fundraiser for my mother-in-law's operation, Dawn. Thanks to you, I was able to look really good in front of her and the rest of my wife's family.
Oh, it was the least I could have done. I'll never forget the time that I spilled boiling hot oil on my feet and you immediately carried me to the hospital on your back without a second thought. We ended up getting there much faster than we would have if I'd had to wait for an ambulance.
No, honestly, you make me out to be some kind of hero, but it was nothing, really.
How is the shrimp chowder?
Oh, it is really tasty.
This is a new recipe we're trying, so I'm glad you like it. The shrimp were caught locally and everything.
That explains the fresh taste.
Should I get you another serving?
No, I couldn't possibly take advantage of you like that. I always only pay for the one serving, and you always end up giving me twice or even 3 times as much as I ordered. Thank you so much for your generosity, but you should worry more about making a profit.
Come on now, don't be stubborn and just have some seconds already. You need all the sustenance you can get after a hard day's work. Here, pass me over your bowl already. It's not like I only signed a contract for 1 or 2 years. I've been here for the last 16 years, for goodness sake. I think that this is really unfair.
Well, you haven't formally requested to renew your contract, have you? It's only natural for the rent to have gone up a little in 16 years. Surely you can understand.
But it hasn't just gone up a little. It's gone up by almost 10%.
I could have raised it even more if I wanted to, but I didn't because I'm such a generous person.
And I also assumed that my contract was going to be renewed automatically since, I've been here constantly for the past 16 years. And I really don't appreciate you raising the rent all of a sudden without prior warning.
Well, your business is doing really well these days, isn't it? I'm sure you can afford to cough up a few extra pennies towards paying the rent. When I passed by earlier, there were people queuing out the door.
Even so, it's a business that I built myself from nothing. After 16 years of business, I know that just because things are going well now, that doesn't mean that they will be going as well in a few months' time.
Well, I guess I'll just have to prove to you that I'm entitled to way more rent than I'm getting right now. Do you even know what interest rates are like right now? Anyway, I don't want to talk to you anymore, so just get out of here. If you want to carry on renting here, you're going to have to pay the new, higher amount. That's just how things are in this economy, I'm afraid.
Hi, Rhonda. It's so good to see you.
Hi, Dawn. Why don't you sit down and we can have a chat over lunch? Did you rake in the money again today?
Yes, business is going well as usual. How was the food you ordered from us last time? I've been experimenting with some new flavors recently, so I wanted to know how they're being received by the customers.
Oh, everything you make is delicious as always.
Oh, you flatter me.
Anyway, have you heard the rumors that there are going to be a bunch of new developments happening in the next neighborhood over? I heard they're going to be building lots of swanky government offices, and they're even going to be making a few new subway stations so the area will become better connected with the city center.
Oh, I hadn't heard about that, but I guess it will do a lot for the local economy. My dad bought some land around that area and is having a new house built there, so I guess once it's completed and all the developments in the area are done, it'll end up being worth quite a lot of money.
Oh, your dad is going to be moving into a new house?
Yeah, he felt a bit stuffy in his apartment, and he wanted to have a big backyard so that he could start cultivating a little fruit and vegetable garden. He's got really green fingers, you know. Even though the house itself isn't finished yet, he's been going over regularly to tend to the garden. His dream is to live a fully self-sustained lifestyle, but I'm not sure if he's going to manage that at his age. After all, he has been a manual laborer his whole life. His body's going to have to give out eventually.
Oh, but even so, it's so lovely to hear that he's found a space where he can enjoy doing his hobby. Hearing you talk about your dad's old age is really making me realize how much time has gone by since you were born. As you know, I was friends with your mother since high school, and I've known you since you were in diapers. Oh, it really seems like only yesterday that you were fresh out of high school, just starting to work. I remember the day that you came to me saying you were going to open your own diner so clearly. I can't believe 16 years have gone by already. Time flies, doesn't it? Now you're almost 40 and well, we won't talk about my age. Your mother would be shocked to see me all wrinkled, God rest her soul.
Oh, don't say that. You don't look a day older than you did 16 years ago.
Oh, stop it, you. Don't tell such sweet little lies to an old lady like me because I might just start believing them. Anyway, enough about me. I've been meaning to ask, are you planning on staying single forever?
No, not necessarily. The opportunity to date someone just hasn't really come up.
Oh, that's good to hear. I was worried that you had either resolved against getting married or you'd given up already.
Oh no, it's just that I'm always so busy and I've never really had time to invest in a serious relationship. But these days, lots of people get married in their 40s, so I don't think it's necessarily too late for me.
Well, that's great news. I've got someone in mind for you.
Sorry, what?
You just said that you did want to get married. Why has all the color drained out of your face all of a sudden?
Oh, well, I was just saying that in the future, at some point, it would be nice to meet someone with similar values to me and see how it goes. I didn't necessarily mean that I want to get married right now.
Oh, come on, Dawn. There's no time like the present. Tell me, what kind of man are you looking for?
Somebody who fits in well with my lifestyle, I guess?
Well, you spend at least 340 of the 365 days in the year working in your diner, so it's going to be a little hard to find someone who fits in perfectly with your lifestyle. Because most of your regulars are taxi drivers, I thought you would naturally be exposed to lots of men, but they are all old, married, or old and married.
Yeah, I haven't really found that kind of connection with any of the customers. They're mostly around my dad's age, and some of them are even my dad's friends.
Well, if fate isn't knocking on your door, you need to go and seek it out yourself. I'm telling you, this guy would be perfect for you. His mom is a landlady, and he runs a car repair shop. His business is doing really well, you know. And you know what they say about men who do manual labor like that. They're good with their hands. And to top it all off, he's the same age as you. It was meant to be. He's a nice guy, but I would say his only flaw is that he can be a little childish and irresponsible at times. I think his mom is really looking for a woman with a sensible head on her shoulders who can drag him back to reality and help him to grow up a little bit. I think she wants to make sure he's prepared to inherit all of her properties when she passes on. I actually heard her talking about you before, so I'm sure you will be the perfect candidate. This is the best revenge we could possibly get on that old cow of a landlady. I'll make sure that Dawn gets her hands on her inheritance.
We'll pay her back for all the times she wronged us over the years. I'll be rooting for you, Dawn. Hi, Dad, I'm here. What are you doing?
No, I'm hand washing the clothes before I put them in the washing machine.
Oh, Dad, there's no need for you to put so much effort in.
But if I put the muddy clothes straight into the washing machine, you'll be mad at me. Oh, don't pretend you're not happy that I'm not giving them a little rinse first.
Okay, I suppose you're right. Thanks, Dad.
How was business today?
Oh, booming as usual. We never have a slow day these days.
Oh, well, look at you, Miss Modest.
What about you, Dad? Did you go over to the new house again today? I really don't know why you bought that land if the house isn't even going to be ready to live in for another year or so. I know that you like pottering around in the garden there, but you need to take it easy sometimes. You never give yourself a break.
Well, I've been a laborer all my life, and I like working outside. And besides, the house will be finished by the time I turn 70, and I think it'll be a nice time for me to move in there. I can start a new decade of my life in a new environment. Oh, won't that be lovely? And how can you say it's useless when I've planted all sorts of different fruit trees? Once they grow, we won't have to worry about buying fruit ever again.
I suppose it has its uses. Anyway, Dad, leave the laundry for a second and come and talk with me for a second.
What is it? I haven't done anything wrong today, have I? I haven't had a drink in over a week. You said I should cut down in order to keep an eye on my health, and I'm actually starting to feel the benefits.
Relax, Dad. This isn't about you. I just wanted to tell you that I'm thinking of starting a new business.
Oh, really? And why would you want to do that when the business you have is already doing so well?
Well, that's exactly why. It's doing so well that I'm pretty confident that I would do well with anything I set my mind to.
Oh, look at you tooting your own horn.
Well, business is booming even though we're in a recession and other similar restaurants are going under. That obviously means that I'm doing something right and am succeeding where others are failing.
Oh, are you feeling sorry for all the other restaurants that you've put out of business? In that case, you should brag a little less and be a little bit more humble. But you've been in the same place for the last 16 years. How are you suddenly just gonna up and leave?
I'm not going to abandon the diner. I'm going to leave it to Kyle.
Kyle? As in your brother-in-law, Kyle?
Yeah, he's been working so hard to try and give Katie the best life possible. I know he loves her and the kids so much, and I see how much effort he puts in at work day in, day out. If he becomes the manager, they'll have some extra money coming their way, and they definitely need it right now. I know he'd been trying to start his own business for a while, but kept failing, and I decided to take him on at the diner after his last business failed because of the pandemic. Now he can finally have the chance to manage a business like he always wanted to. And it really isn't easy to raise 2 kids in this economy. I want to do what I can for my little nibblings.
I am really touched that you would go out of your way to help your sister and her family like that. I always felt that I had failed the 2 of you by not being able to provide you with more opportunities in life.
What are you talking about, Dad? You always did the best you could, and both Katie and I know that. And we also had Mom's debt to worry about. Paying that off wasn't an easy job for either of us. I know how hard doing physical labor in the fields was for you.
I do admit that mother of yours didn't exactly do us any favors by passing away when she did and leaving us with such a heap of debt. You know, it still pains me to think that I couldn't afford to send either of you to college because of that.
Dad, you don't need to be sorry about that. It's not your fault. I wasn't a good student anyway, and even if we had been able to afford college, I probably would have chosen not to go. And look how successful I've become even without a college education. It just goes to show that having a fancy degree isn't everything. If you work hard, you can achieve anything. Anyway, back to the matter at hand. Kyle doesn't know it yet, but I've been training him up to be my successor for a while now.
So, are you just gonna completely step away and focus on your new business now then?
No, I think that would be too overwhelming for him at first, so I'm going to support him for the first few months and then slowly take a step back so he gradually gets used to running things by himself.
That sounds like a good idea. So, what is your new business gonna be anyway?
A carne asada restaurant.
Carne asada? That's barbecue, right?
Yes, do you remember that I spent a few weeks in Mexico last year?
Yeah, I remember. You went to visit one of your old high school friends who moved there, didn't you?
Yes, I did. But I was also doing some research on the Mexican food industry and how to bring a more authentic feel to the US market. I'm also planning on incorporating a Hawaiian twist and serving poke bowls as well.
Are you sure you know enough about Mexican food and poke bowls to be opening up a whole new restaurant based on them?
I'm still in the process of my research, so I won't open the new place until I'm fully confident that I'm going to do well. I've already started scouting for some experienced Mexican chefs, and I'm looking into making our own condiments on site.
Oh, yeah. I remember when we went to that Brazilian place that made their own condiments, you kept praising them for it.
Yeah, that's where I got the idea from.
I suppose more authentic foods are becoming much more popular with young people these days.
Yes, there are lots of taco places around, but none of them are done quite the way I'm thinking. I'm thinking of going with a market feel. There's a lot more than tacos. All kinds of stews and barbecues.
That's interesting. I wonder how you're going to pull that off. Well, either way, I believe in you. Like you said, you've always managed to succeed at everything you put your mind to. And I can't thank you enough for looking after your sister and her family. I feel like I've failed as a parent for not being able to set them up for the future the way that you have.
Oh, Dad, it's fine, honestly.
Thank you so much, Dawn, for giving me this opportunity.
Oh, there's no need to thank me. And stop your crying. Anyone listening would think you're a girl and not a grown man.
I just don't have enough words to express my gratitude.
It's not like you're getting handed things on a silver platter. You've got a lot of hard work ahead of you. Tomorrow, you start going to work in the early morning just like I do and prepping for open, okay? I'll stay with you and train you up properly for the first 3 months, and then you'll be on your own after that. I have lots of years of experience, so you're in good hands. You'll still be a salaried employee under me for those 3 months, but after that, you're going to be your own boss.
Thank you so much, Dawn. I'm just so grateful.
You call yourself a man. Pull yourself together.
I just never thought in my wildest dreams that I would ever have an opportunity like this after everything else I tried to do didn't work out.
Sorry, Kyle, it's my dad. I'll have to take this. Hi, Dad, is everything okay?
Where do you keep your driving license and ID card?
Oh, I have my driving license with me right now, but my ID card should be somewhere at home. Why do you ask?
You'll need them tomorrow. They're somewhere we need to go.
Okay, sure. We can talk about this a little more at home.
Okay, see you later.
Kyle?
Yes, Dawn?
Don't think of the customers just as customers. Instead, think of them as if they were your own father or your uncle. That way, they'll feel more comfortable around you and keep coming back. The customer's needs always come first. You need to always remember that above everything else, okay?
Yes, of course I will.
The steak here isn't that great, is it?
I think it's fine.
Now, come on, you're a culinary master. You don't need to pretend like this.
Even if the main dishes aren't great, the sides are really nice.
Shall we just leave?
You want to leave?
Yeah, I do. I finally met a woman I really like, and I only want her to have the best of the best. This mediocre food isn't up to standard, is it? Let's get going.
Oh, but it really is fine.
I know a really good place that I want you to try out. It's a little far from here, but I'm sure you're gonna absolutely love it.
What kind of food is it?
It's oysters. Do you like seafood?
Yeah, oysters are nice every now and then.
Let's go and have some New York style oysters.
What on earth are New York style oysters?
It's so cute. There are so many things that you don't know about despite your age. It's better for me to show you than for me to explain what they are. I really think you'll like them.
But what about all this food we've ordered but barely touched?
Are you saying that we should just suck it up and eat it? No, I won't have that. I want us to go somewhere with a really nice atmosphere to eat something really tasty. We are going to have the nicest evening we could possibly have. At the end of the day, we've come out to enjoy ourselves, haven't we?
I've never met anyone with such a flippant attitude towards wasting food. But I do kind of like him, so I guess I'll just let this slide for now. Maybe I shouldn't have been so focused on managing the diner, and I should have made some more time for dating when I was younger. I guess I really do know nothing about men my age. I can't tell if this is a good one or not because I have no exes to compare him with. All my interactions with men are with the old taxi drivers who come into the diner. An attractive, successful man around my age is completely new territory for me. I like how decisive and commandeering he is, though. And the scars on the back of his hands are kind of hot as well. I didn't realize you could get hurt so often just by fixing cars.
Hey, Kyle, is your wife cheating on you or something? We haven't seen her around for ages.
Now, look here, Larry. Why are you always so nice to my sister-in-law, but you're never nice to me? I'm trying my best here, you know?
I mean, Dawn is a little sweet lady. You're a big guy with broad shoulders and a beard. Treating you the way I treated her would be a little weird, don't you think?
Even so, I'd appreciate it if you just cut me a little slack.
Oh, I don't know why Dawn suddenly decided to turn her back on this place and leave us with this loser instead. Are we not good enough for her all of a sudden? I don't see why she has to go off and open a fancy schmancy new restaurant in a fancy schmancy neighborhood. What's wrong with a good old greasy American diner?
Ralph, would you like a second helping?
Oh, I'm good, thanks. I'm all full up.
Are you really all full up? Or do you not want it because I'm not Dawn? I've never seen you leave satisfied after just one serving before, so why don't you just accept it when I offer it to you?
I'm sorry, I just really don't want it anymore today.
Oh, there's no need to apologize. You're one of our regulars, so I consider you as family.
You should get to sleep soon. I'm gonna have to get going anyway. There's still a few things I need to sort out at the old place before I can start with the new one.
Can't you just stay for 5 more minutes? There's something I want to say to you.
Oh no, I really must get going. I've already stayed way later than I planned.
It's cute how you don't pick up on the subtle signs. But I guess you wouldn't know what to look for if you've never been in a relationship before. Have you at least got the premises for your new restaurant?
No, not yet. Kyle still hasn't got the hang of managing the diner by himself yet, and I also still haven't found the ideal premises in the city yet, so I'm gonna carry on looking for a little longer. But honey, you're not looking so good right now. You'd better not stay up all night gaming again. That's probably why you're looking like this. Make sure you get a good night's sleep.
I already promised my friends that we're gonna play together tonight, so I can't go back on my word.
I can't believe that a bunch of 40-year-old men are so absorbed in these silly games. It's not good for your eyes or your brain.
I know. I'll try and do less of it from now on, okay? But anyway, would you please just let me say what I've been wanting to say this whole time?
Yeah, go on then. What is it?
My mom wants you to come by and say hi to her.
Oh, she does?
She said not to introduce any girlfriends to her unless I was sure about our future together. So, what I'm saying is, will you marry me?
Do you mean that?
Of course I do.
Okay, yeah, sure. I'll marry you.
Oh, I'm so happy that you said yes. But there's also something else I need to tell you.
What is it?
Well, you know who it was who set us up on our first date together, right?
Yeah, it was Rhonda who runs the beauty salon in the same building as my diner.
Well, she really likes you, and so does my mom.
Your mom? Do I know her already? Is she one of the regulars at my diner by any chance?
I'm guessing all your customers must really like you then.
Well, I guess you could say that.
No, she's not one of your regulars. She's actually your diner's landlady.
Wait, what?
Why are you so surprised? I expected you to maybe be mildly surprised, but I didn't think it warranted that reaction.
Well, I suppose you don't know what my relationship with your mom has been like over the years. What did she say about me?
She said that she really liked you. She said she thought you were the perfect match for a guy like me. She said she thinks you would do a good job of helping me manage her property after she's gone.
Well. This woman is full of surprises. So she's given her blessing for me to marry her son, but she still wants to raise my rent? I suppose our business and personal lives are completely unrelated, but I still find this a little strange. I really don't know what to think about this.
What did you just say? I can't believe what I'm hearing.
I figured you'd probably be upset, but there's no need to yell at me about it.
Well, what did you expect? And for me to find out from the neighborhood gossips instead of directly from you. It's very upsetting, you know. Not only am I your future mother-in-law, I've also been your landlady for the past 16 years. The diner was doing so well. Surely you should have left it to me instead of to your younger sister's husband. And what about this new business? What are you going to be doing? And where are you going to be doing it? Have you already found a new premises?
Yes, I signed the contract a few days ago, and I've already put down a deposit on a new premises in the city center.
You should have mentioned this to me before. Why am I the last person to know that any of this was happening? Anyway, you should tell your sister and her husband that I'll be taking over.
Well, I can't do that. They already started managing the place months ago. My brother-in-law has finally learned the ropes, and I've been able to completely step away from the place now.
On whose authority did you decide to do such a thing?
My own authority? I can do whatever I like with my own business, thank you very much.
But I'm the one who owns the premises.
Even so, I don't think you have the legal right to be that involved in decisions made about the individual running of the businesses that you rent to. You're still getting the rent payments each month, aren't you? Then you shouldn't be concerned with anything else.
Even so, you should have told me about this when you first made the decision. I'm the landlady and I need to know what's going on.
Well, I'm making sure you're up to date now, aren't I?
Who do you consider closer then? Your future mother-in-law, future grandmother of your children, the woman who blessed you by giving birth to your husband-to-be, or your younger sister's husband?
I'm not married to your son yet, you know. And forgive me if you saw things differently, but from my point of view, our relationship before I got engaged to him wasn't exactly familial. I'm very close to my sister, and she's been dating her husband since they were teenagers. So naturally, it's as if he's part of my family too. Surely you should understand why I would prioritize giving the business to them, especially considering the fact that they have young children to support. My brother-in-law has also already been working with me for a while now and understands the business inside out.
But once you marry my son, you'll be part of our family, and you will naturally be far less tied to your birth family.
I think that's a very old-fashioned notion. It's been a long time since it was widely considered that a woman became her husband's property upon marriage in this country, you know? In my opinion, when two people get married, it just means that both sides of the family come together, which means that both sides should be considered equally important. Besides, I haven't even decided if I'm going to change my surname yet.
Well, of course you're going to change your surname. What nonsense is this?
Anyway, we've lost track of what we were originally discussing. The point I really want to drive home here is that I will manage my business however I see fit, and my decision was to pass it on to my brother-in-law, who I believe was the most capable for the job. His takeover is already well underway, and I'm not going to be changing my mind at all.
Such a waste! I could have done so much with that place.
With all due respect, Carol, it really is nothing to do with you. It's effectively my brother-in-law's business now, and there's nothing you can do to change that. I'm going to pretend that this was just a professional phone call between landlady and tenant where I simply informed you that the diner will have a new owner from now on. For the sake of our relationship moving forwards, I will pretend that you didn't make such an unseemly fuss about all this. Hey Kyle, is everything okay?
Hi, Dawn. Where are you right now?
I'm in the car. I'm on my way to buy some crockery for the new restaurant.
Would it be possible to come over to the diner as soon as possible?
Why? What's happened?
The police are here, for some reason.
What? What do they think we've been doing? Everything is all in order financially, and we passed our recent hygiene inspection with the highest rating possible.
I think it's not something to do with the diner. They want to talk to you specifically. It's about your fiancé.
Well, this is obviously all your fault, Dawn.
Even if you do think that, that's no reason for you to show up here and start causing a scene. What on earth do you think you're doing?
I'm sorry, who are you exactly?
I've been a regular at this place for the last 16 years.
Well, even so, this has nothing to do with you, so how about you just butt out, okay? And anyway, it's a little pathetic that you're still working as a taxi driver at your age, if you ask me.
Excuse me? What did you just say to me?
Okay, whatever. I won't waste my time talking to you. Dawn, I have to say I'm very disappointed in you. You've clearly been a terrible influence on my poor innocent son. You're the exact opposite of everything I wanted from a daughter-in-law. It hasn't even been that long since you got engaged, and my son has already disappeared off the face of the earth. You're the only new thing in his life, so it obviously must be your fault somehow. Get out of my building right now!
Carol, how about you calm down and we go and talk outside? You're disturbing the customers who are just trying to enjoy their meals in peace.
Don't you go around telling me what to do. I'll say what I want to say when and where I want to say it.
Will you just leave Miss Dawn alone already? It's not her fault that your son has been running an illegal casino instead while using his repair shop as a front, is it?
Well, you know how it is. People get delusional and refuse to see what's right in front of them when it involves their nearest and dearest. That's obviously what's happening to her right now. Despite everything, she still thinks that the sun shines out of her son's backside and has come here to make poor Miss Dawn her scapegoat. Look here, lady, I don't know what you think you're achieving by showing up here shouting and screaming. The only thing you're succeeding in doing is embarrassing yourself.
He's right, you know. The only person to blame here is your son. He was the one who got caught doing something illegal. He's obviously been running this operation for years, probably for as long as he's had the car repair shop. I always knew there was something suspicious about that guy when I saw those scars on his hand. He's obviously been involved in some darker stuff than just running a car repair shop. It turns out he was running an illegal underground casino the whole time.
I really don't know why he's so irresponsible, getting into so much debt on top of everything else. Using his own mother's properties as collateral, the man has really no morals. Looks like you've lost pretty much everything you own as well now, haven't you, lady? There's only this building here and that apartment a few blocks away that he hasn't touched.
Hi, Kyle. I'm really sorry, but now isn't really a good time. Wait, what? Did I hear you right? Did you say that my dad has collapsed?
I'm so sorry, Dawn. I feel like this is all my fault. I promised your mother I would treat you as my own daughter, and now I've gone and gotten you into this mess.
It's okay, Rhonda. I know you had good intentions.
I thought we could pay Carol back for how badly she treated us over the years by introducing you to her son in the hopes that you would get married and you would end up getting your hands on all of her properties. But if I'd known what he was really like, I would never have encouraged you to go on a date with him at all. I'm so sorry. I really just wanted the best for you.
Oh, it's fine. Don't blame yourself. Even though you're the one who introduced him to me, I'm the one who started liking him, entered into a relationship with him, and agreed to marry him.
Still, I feel like your dad's blood is on my hands, too. I had no idea that he would pass away from the shock after hearing what had happened.
There's no use in us standing around feeling bad about it now. What's happened has happened. It's almost funny when you think about it. Finding the humorous side of things is the only way to stay sane sometimes, I think. Aren't you forgetting that my mom passed away because you couldn't deal with the stress of constantly being hounded by debt collectors? It was me and my dad who ended up paying back her debt, so it's hardly surprising that he couldn't recover from the shock of hearing that his future son-in-law had run away because he was also knee-deep in debt. I really don't want you to feel bad about this. It's all my fault for getting engaged to the wrong person. If anyone should feel responsible for my dad's death, it's me.
I suppose on the bright side, it looks like your sister's husband is doing a great job of managing the diner. He's such a lovely, warm-hearted, charming young man. He was always going out of his way to help you out before, and now he's trying his best to do the diner justice after you trusted him with it. He also seems to have mastered bantering with the customers. They also seem to really like him, you know.
Yes, he is a really lovely guy. I think he was struggling a little at first, but he's gotten really used to things now. I'm very grateful to have someone as trustworthy as him to leave the diner too. Oh, hi Larry, what a surprise. Is everything okay with you?
Where are you right now?
I'm,
Wherever you are, you better drop whatever you're doing and come to the diner right now. It is an emergency.
Larry, please. Calm down and tell me what's going on.
They say these things come in threes. This really doesn't seem to be your year at all, Miss Dawn.
Please tell me what's going on.
There's no time. It's better if you just come as quickly as you can. I already called the emergency services. Oh, this is a huge mess.
You really have gone too far this time, Carol. This is arson. I know there's no proof, but I'm certain that it was you who started the fire. Kyle here is far too experienced in the kitchen to make a mistake like this. I knew you were an awful person, but how could you do this to someone? To your supposed future daughter-in-law, nonetheless. How much you may hate her and blame her for your son's disappearance, you didn't need to go as far as burning down her diner. You must have completely lost your mind. Well, this is just slander. How can you accuse me of doing something like this when we've known each other for so many years is beyond me, Rhonda. And anyway, in all honesty, I don't see what the huge fuss is about. The whole place needed rebuilding anyway. And it wasn't even a big fire. Nobody got hurt, did they? It's for the best. Now we can just start rebuilding the whole thing from scratch. It was on the brink of collapse anyway. Surely you should have just put measures in place to improve the building's structure instead of burning it down. Well, I think the fact that it burnt down so easily just goes to show that there was no point in trying to salvage it, was there? Well, you're not wrong, but I still think you're crazy for doing this. Do you not have anything to say about this, Dawn?
If you're going to rebuild, will you be able to make it so the diner can reopen? Are you willing to do this one thing for me?
Yeah, sure, do whatever you want. As long as you take responsibility for financing the rebuild. After all, the fire started in your diner, did it not?
I think we both know full well that this was not my fault, nor the fault of anyone who works in that diner.
Well, of course, you wouldn't be willing to help out, would you? You did make it very clear that your family was way more important to you than your future mother-in-law. So I suppose it was silly for me to think that you would start caring about me now.
Dawn, I'm leaving.
You're drunk. Go home and get some rest and we can talk when you're sober. You clearly don't know what you're saying.
I'm clearly just a useless person. I must bring some kind of curse wherever I go. Every business I tried to start for myself failed, and now your diner is in ruins a mere few months after I took over. I think I must be an unlucky charm, and the reason that all these awful things have happened to you over the last few months is because you decided to leave the running of the diner to me.
Where are you planning on going? Katie and the kids have their lives here too, you know. It isn't going to be easy to just up sticks and leave.
I still think it's best for us to be as far away from you as possible. I don't want to cause any more bad things to happen to you. Please, just forget all about us. I'm sure you'll have a much happier life that way.
Listen to me, Kyle. I've decided not to go ahead with opening the new place. Instead, I'm going to start from scratch on the site of the old diner. I'm going to need your help. It's not going to be easy, so there's no way I'm going to be able to do it on my own.
I wish you all the best, but please, don't involve me in this. I don't want to be the cause of any more trouble.
Well, if that's really what you want to do, I won't stop you from leaving. But I won't have you taking my sister and the kids with you as well. If you really want to leave, promise me you'll divorce her and not claim custody of the kids. If you really think you're some kind of jinx, then you should leave them be and go off on your own.
Dawn, please don't ask me to do that.
Why do you have to be so dramatic and run away at the first sign of difficulty? Obviously, life isn't always going to be plain sailing. Bad things happen every so often and it really sucks. But we have to just get on with it. I thought you were a reliable guy, but it seems like you can't handle as much responsibility as I thought you could. I'm really disappointed in you.
Dawn really is the goddess of business. She really did quite literally raise this place up from the ashes of the old place like a phoenix. Although this fancy cantina is definitely different from the greasy taxi driver's diner that we're used to, people are coming from all over just to try this food.
How long have you been standing out here waiting?
No, I think around 40 minutes now. This new place must be 100 times as big as the old diner. How come it's so hard to get a seat in there?
I'm probably just gonna give up and go try somewhere else tonight. I won't get in before they close at this rate.
Have you given up the idea of getting married then?
Well, to be honest, since my fiance ran away and became unreachable, it kind of put me off the idea of trusting someone like that again. But I think maybe I'm not cut out to be in a relationship. I much prefer to put my all into my work. I must not have left him that much because I honestly wouldn't really care if you told me my ex-fiance had been found dead somewhere. I know it's quite harsh, but that's just honestly how I feel.
Is having a booming business really all that matters to you?
Yep, I think so. That was my first and only relationship in my 39 years of life, and honestly, it really has opened my eyes to the fact that it's just not worth it. Sometimes I think about what would have happened if I'd found out the truth about him after we'd got married. So I'm actually really grateful for how things turned out.
I suppose you must be. Oh, and by the way, do you remember what I mentioned to you before about that neighborhood nearby?
Oh no, she's going to go off on one of her boring tangents about real estate again.
What do you think about opening a second branch in that area? It's near the house you inherited from your late father, God rest his soul. And with the new government offices going up and plans for a new subway station, surely it's going to be the best area to do business from now on. Have a think about it. Maybe your dad's house will go up in value as well once the area becomes more developed.
I will. I'm still not convinced, but I'll think about it. These are only rumors anyway. I don't know for sure.
If that big mouth Rhonda is going around spreading rumors that the area where Dawn's dad's house is will be the new place to be, then maybe there's some kind of truth to it. I lost everything because of that son of mine. It's time to pull myself up onto my own 2 feet. I can't survive just off the rent from my 2 remaining properties. I need to do something. I have a plan. I'll give Dawn an ultimatum. I'll tell her that I'll take the restaurant off her hands if she refuses to hand her dad's house over to me. That way I'll be able to sell it when the time is right and make the fortune I deserve.
I've been holding my anger in, but I really can't take this anymore.
Well, there's nothing legally wrong with what I'm saying, is there?
You really love to drag the law into things when you know you're wrong, don't you? It makes you feel like you have the moral high ground, doesn't it?
Well, all I'm doing is talking about my rights as your landlady. Our relationship now is strictly professional, so I hope you weren't expecting to receive any kind of preferential treatment from me or anything like that.
Are you really telling me to get out? When it's thanks to me that the place is even standing in the first place? When I first opened my business in your building 16 years ago, it already seemed like it was on the brink of collapse, and to be honest, it's a miracle that it even lasted this long. I worked hard to get the place rebuilt after the fire last year, and I finally gotten my business re-established after having to start from scratch again. You can't just kick me out all of a sudden.
I'm still the landlady, and I can still do whatever I like with my property.
I really don't know how a person can be so cruel.
After 16 years of business together, and you having been on the brink of marrying my son, surely you owe me this much.
Please don't bring your son into this. I don't want to talk about him. And besides, I would never consent to be your daughter-in-law again, even if you paid me $1 million. Even if your son came back, begging for forgiveness and swearing that he was a changed man, I wouldn't take him back.
All right, I'm going to quit playing nice now. I really want to have a go at opening my own restaurant. Things are tough now that I don't have the same rental income I used to, and I'm going to need to make more money somehow in order to get by. And I'm going to need your premises to do so. I'm not asking you to get out anymore. I'm telling you.
Oh, I see how it is. So this is what this was all about. Fine. If you want to start your own business on your own property, then who am I to stop you?
I just feel like my life is so meaningless now. There's nothing interesting about simply just existing. And I don't know whether my son is dead or alive. I need something to distract me from all my worries. I'm struggling to get by with the rent from the few properties I have left. I need some extra money to get by. But if you really don't want to give me the restaurant, that's fine. I'll let you carry on doing business there if you promise to give me the house that your dad left to you.
I'm sorry, what did you just say? What on earth gives you the right to think you have any claim on that house? Well, I guess it's in a well-connected area and lots of wealthy people are living there now. I'm starting to think that you never wanted to take over the restaurant in the first place. The house is what you really want, but you brought up the restaurant first because you were sure that I would say no. Then you thought I would give in to your ultimatum and let you have the house so that I could carry on running my business in your building.
Well, I think this would work out quite well for both of us. I'd even be happy to pass the apartment I'm currently living in on to you, on top of letting you carry on doing business in your current premises. Don't you think it would be better for you to just let me have the house?
But still, my dad left it to me.
So what's it going to be? Are you going to give me the house or not?
Fine, I'll give you the house. Business must go on at the end of the day. And so that's how my greedy ex-mother-in-law-to-be/landlady planned to get her hands on my property. She thought she'd really won there, but she still eventually ended up losing everything. As we discussed, she let me carry on running my restaurant in the building she owned and gave me the apartment she'd been living in exchange for my dad's house, which she had been wanting because of its proximity to transport links and because the neighborhood was full of rich people. She seemed to think that it would upset me a lot to let go of that property, but to be honest, I wasn't that interested in keeping hold of it. As always, the most important thing for me was to do business and make money, and I was happy as long as I was able to keep on doing that. I moved into the apartment that my ex-mother-in-law-to-be/landlady had been living in as per the exchange. And although Rhonda's predictions were not exactly wrong, they weren't exactly right either. You see, it was the neighborhood that the apartment I got from my ex-mother-in-law-to-be/landlady and my restaurant were in that ended up getting the new developments, not the one with my dad's house in. They started to tear down the surrounding buildings and constructed a new subway station right behind my new apartment. The apartment therefore more than doubled in value, and I was able to sell it for a very good price. As for my ex-mother-in-law or landlady, my dad's house wasn't completed when she took it off my hands, and she decided to go and take it a step further, adding a third floor to the property in the hopes that it would add value to it when she was ready to sell it. Her greed really knows no limits. However, the land where she was building the house ended up being incorporated into a new road that was being built in the area, instead of being the center of the newly developed area with new offices and subway stations. Although she received some compensation, it wasn't nearly as much as she would have received if she'd been able to sell the completed house. Nevertheless, she took the money and rented an inconspicuous apartment in the hopes of avoiding her son, who she was worried would come back and find her asking for money that she didn't have. She came to me, saying she was desperate to start a business in order to make ends meet, and told me she would pay me what I was due, but I would need to leave my restaurant premises and let her take over. She was struggling to pay back the debt she had incurred whilst finishing off building the house, and this time I didn't put up a fight and just let her get what she wanted. I took my money, bought a house in the city center, and opened up 2 new restaurants, one for me to run and one for my sister and her husband to run. I'm sure I don't even need to tell you that we're doing incredibly well for ourselves. I wasn't bragging when I said I was confident that I would succeed in any business adventure I decided to embark on. My ex-mother-in-law-to-be or landlady kept my exact menu after she took over my restaurant, but my regulars refused to go because they insisted it wouldn't taste the same if it wasn't made by me. Another similar Mexican place opened up nearby, and people liked that place better, so they ended up going there instead. My ex-mother-in-law-to-be landlady ended up with next to no customers and eventually went out of business. The neighborhood gossip started to spread rumors about the premises being cursed, and she therefore wasn't able to rent it out to anybody else. I heard that after that she ended up resorting to washing dishes at another Greasy Spoon diner frequented by taxi drivers, just like the one I used to run.
Sir, I'd really appreciate it if you only took one sachet of free instant coffee. There are other customers, you know.
No, I'm sorry, but is this your restaurant, lady? I don't think it is. Do you have the authority to tell me not to take more than one coffee sachet?
Of course this isn't my restaurant, but I'm just doing my job and making sure things are going the way my boss would like them to be.
Well, since you're not the boss, you obviously didn't pay for these coffee sachets, did you? Therefore, you have no right to decide what should be done with them. It's a bit pathetic that you're stuck washing dishes at somebody else's restaurant at your age anyway, if you ask me.
Excuse me, what did you just say to me?
I don't know if you remember, but you insulted me in a similar way before. I guess this is karma coming back to bite you on the butt, huh? Now, go be a doll and fetch me a glass of water.
Go and get your own water.
No, what's that? Are you raising your voice at a customer? Where's your boss? I'll have to give her a call and make sure she knows how her kitchen staff are abusing customers. There she is. Hey, excuse me, do you know how rude your kitchen staff are? This lady here definitely needs to go through retraining.
Ma'am, I can assure you that I've done nothing wrong. This man keeps following me whichever restaurant I'm working in and harassing me at work. He clearly has a personal vendetta against me and is plotting to get me fired.
I never once followed you around. I just have the bad luck of ending up going to the restaurants that you work in, that's all. Ever since Dawn moved her business to the city, I've had to resort to trying a bunch of different restaurants in the area instead. None of them are as good as hers, but they will do, I guess. But why do you keep having to come and work in the places us taxi drivers are likely to go? It really puts me off my food to see your sourpuss wherever I go, you know?
Fine, you win here. Are you happy now? I'll quit. I'll leave right now if that's what you really want. I'm sick and tired of this.
You never should have looked down on us taxi drivers in the first place. We're not to be underestimated. We have connections everywhere, you see, and if we want to make your life difficult, we sure can. Wherever you go in this area, there's bound to be one of us around. You're not getting away from us that easily.
Oh, what have I done to deserve such a pitiful existence?